I'm Master Trooper Gary Cutler.
And I'm Sergeant Blake White, and we are with the Colorado State Patrol.
And you've done it to me again. Look at this. We were supposed to do Casual Friday. What happened?
When I joke about the fact that we should have like a Casual Friday, Casual any day, we don't really have that with our uniform, Gary. So
I know. Thus,
I want you to make a traffic stop with that on. I appreciate the fact that you at least put your badge on there.
Right.
That's a nice touch.
Is it too tough to actually just come down to my office and tell me that we decided to do something different?
We were not supposed to do Casual Friday. That was a joking conversation of we should have a Casual Friday, but we don't because we wear uniforms every day, Gary.
But it was supposed to go with the whole theme here. So summer travel, Hawaiian shirt, vacations, all that kind of stuff.
No, I appreciate that you wear that shirt on your summer travel vacations too.
I'm very relaxed on it, but now I got to go change.
Yeah, you do.
Fine.
Colorado State Patrol Podcast. Troopers with a microphone. Now we're in for it. It's roads less travel with Blake and Gary. I think they're ready.
Well, we're back. I'm a little less comfortable, but it would have been nice to have been able to have that when we're talking about vacations, and now we're.
You still look, comfortable enough.
I am not comfortable.
Maybe a little less comfortable, but yeah, it's not nearly the comfort level with the wool and the vest.
Yeah.
And did you have a vest on before? Were you wearing a vest with your Hawaiian shirt?
Oh, are you saying I'm fat?
No, the relaxed, casual look of the Hawaiian shirt. You couldn't even tell.
No, but I didn't have the vest on.
Okay, all right. So. It was very casual. Yes. Great job, Gary.
I know.
Casual, whatever day.
Well, I'm going to be ticked while we talk about vacations now, but...
I don't know why you'd be ticked talking about vacations.
Because
vacations
I'm not dressed for vacations. That's why.
You could be.
Could have been.
I don't think you might be like that. Nobody would want you around, but you could wear that on vacation.
Well, okay, so we're not going to go to the beach, but we do have the mountains.
We do. We have some amazing places to visit in Colorado.
Yes, and I could probably still wear my shirt there, but
you could.
Getting there is the fun part. You know, I mean, the anticipation of a vacation all the time is, I think it's great. You know, you get ready to go, and you're thinking what kind of new fun things you're going to do. And but that creates a problem while we're driving because we need to make sure we get there safely.
Right, agreed. And we do have a variety of terrain and places to visit in Colorado. I mean, even if you're going somewhere in the Denver metro area, Chatfield, Cherry Creek, the beaches there, the lakes, there's a mountain driving, there's Western Colorado hiking, there's Eastern Plains. I mean, we have a ton of different places that you can see, and that's presents a variety of challenges to drivers.
Yes, and everybody's going there on those, especially on the weekends, so you see a lot of that. So that's what we decided to talk about this time, is that we're going to go ahead and hit some of the safety measures we need to do, and one of the big things that you always see is that you have everybody out there. You've got motorcycles, cars, trucks, RVs, trailers, and they're all trying to get along together.
And the thing is, it's a lot of vehicles that maybe you're not driving all the time, whether it's you're hopping on your motorcycle, you're going to drive your RV, you're going to tow a trailer, some things that you're not doing every day that you got to get back into the feeling for, right? So it's not, you can't just hop behind the wheel. You got to mentally prepare for that as well.
You do, and I know that you were going to talk about it, so I'll let you hit on it. You've done some stuff on getting your vehicles prepared for the summer.
So I had some extra time during COVID last year, and so I put up. I did a couple little videos. There's just about kind of preparation, going over your vehicle, and we'll link to that up above, and then we'll also put it in the description if you want to check those out. And basically, it's just the basics of getting your vehicle ready, doing a once over of your vehicle, regardless of what it is, and especially if you're going to be towing something. If you're going to have something different, preparing that vehicle that's maybe been sitting for a while.
And a lot of times I like to tie things into when you get your plates renewed, and that was kind of messed up last year. But if you do it on that type of thing and you say, okay, I'm going to renew my plates at this time, let's look at some of the other things I need to for safety measures and make sure that I have all the equipment that I need for these trips, whether you're just going to the store or you're going to be doing one of these vacation trips.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It's once a year at a minimum, but at least you're doing it, right? You're checking your tires, you're checking fluids, you're doing a once over of your car. I mean, it should be kind of a standard thing, but I'd say the vast majority of people, you just get in the car, turn the key or press the button, whatever it is, and get going.
Yeah. We're only just usually worried about how much gas we have in there.
Or electricity, Gary. Some people have electric cars.
They do that, Well, I'm old school, so I don't know anything about those, but I do know they're out there.
Steam powered. Gary is steam powered still.
Yes. Well, I moved up from the horse.
Yeah. Hey, it's baby steps, but I appreciate the fact that you're now on to something that, has some power behind it. Well, the horse had power.
Yeah. I just didn't have one horsepower brakes,
Anyway.
But, we're both from the metro area here. I've worked out in other areas of the state, but working in the Golden office, one of the things we see a lot of, especially in the summer there, are broken down vehicles as they're going up I-70. And that's not just only a safety issue for yourself of being stuck on the side of the road and expensive. And it's also a safety issue for the other people, because now they have to worry about, is your vehicle off the road enough? Is there anybody running around trying to work on the vehicle? Is there an emergency vehicle? Is there a tow truck? So it creates a lot of issues for people. And so they need to make sure about those. Yeah,
you mentioned our Golden office. And I think the reason for that is it's coming right out of the metro area and it's heading up into the mountains. So as people are starting to head up in the mountains, it's a lot of overheating, just engine problems or vehicle issues in general that they're experiencing. Sometimes the more inexperienced drivers or not knowing where they're at end up stopped in the lane of traffic, and we're trying to get there to clear them out so they don't get hit. They're creating traffic problems. And then you've got the ones that are over on the shoulder and that's smoking, that, is it a fire? Is it overheating? We get those calls a lot. So I think that's the nature of going up, especially with this hot weather that we've been having. Engines and vehicles are having a lot of strain. When you're towing something up a hill in 100-degree weather, that's a lot for a vehicle.
And even those are major interstates, these have a very steep incline on them. And you see that because people are just barely getting into the mountains and they're already broken down. They've overheated or whatever it was. So they weren't going to make that trip anyways because they couldn't get through the first couple miles of it.
Yeah, exactly. So
that really starts you up.
Yep. So that comes with that preparation, really, and getting going before you actually get behind the wheel. All right. So a lot of driving through Colorado is grade and driving up and down these pretty steep roadways, whether it's interstates, it's side roadways, it's just kind of mountain highways. We have a lot of that in Colorado. So as you're driving, we have right of way, whether you're going uphill or downhill, and there's actually law on that. So the vehicle going...
And Dan Drew got this right.
He did. So Dan, actually, we asked Dan this, but the vehicle going which direction?
The one going up.
The one going up has the right of way. So they can keep their momentum going. Now, if they have a pull-off that is closer, more convenient, makes sense, then it may make sense for them to do that. So it doesn't necessarily mean every single time they've got the right of way, but in general, they have the right of way so they can keep going and not block traffic.
And, being in Colorado as long as I have, I think our people really do a pretty good job with that. Whenever I've been on roads like this, usually both of you are pulled over if you have a spot and you're like, well, you come. No, you go ahead.
Yes.
So it's really nice to see that people are being that way when we come to these things.
Yep. And it's just being courteous to other drivers, right? We get a lot of that where drivers are really good about that. But with going up those hills, say you're hopping in your RV, you're getting your camper or something out and you are struggling to get up that hill, make sure you're not obstructing traffic. That's a big one. So you're not blocking 50 cars behind you.
And this is one I think that we don't do as well with. I see a lot of times where we have, 10, 15 cars behind somebody. And, I heard somebody joke one time, well, you get too many cars, you're a little nervous to pull over because you don't know what they're going to do, they'll be a little irritated. But it is one of those things where, you pull over when you get a spot. And it's tough sometimes when you have a trailer because you don't always have that big of a space to be able to do that. But as soon as you find one of those spaces, pull over so that everybody can get up through there and they can get on their way as well.
All right. So legally, you've got to be able to, you don't want to be obstructing traffic, but if it's the safe operation of your vehicle requires you to be going, that speed up the hill and you're not going to blow up your engine, then you can travel at that speed. But when the road is wide enough, when there's a pull off, you need to be going to the right, letting those vehicles pass and then continuing on. And I know it just means slowing you down more because you're going to have to start back up and pull that back up the hill. But that kind of comes with it when you're hauling up the hills.
Absolutely. Then my favorite, going downhill.
Going downhill. So I think what we hear, and I know you've probably stopped cars for it, is coasting down highways. Well, I was only going 20, 30 over because I was coasting. So the momentum got me.
Yeah.
That is illegal in Colorado. and for good reason. So you're basically, you don't have control of your vehicle.
You don't. It's basically a big slide.
Yes. And I actually have a question for you, and this is something that I was curious about and I have looked into several times. Is it more efficient to drive your vehicle in neutral and coast, or to be in gear?
Well, I haven't done research, but I did watch Mythbusters.
Oh, all right. There we go. Look at that.
And theirs was basically turning a car on and off at an intersection and, and stuff like that. And that does show that one you saved, but you didn't save very much on it.
So that one's separate. I think you need about 7 seconds-ish to adjust for the fuel. But if you were going down and you were coasting, the engine is actually burning more fuel than if you're in gear. Like the engine's still moving, but it's not injecting that fuel in there. So if you think you're saving gas, if you're saving the environment in that way, you're wrong. It should actually be in gear. That's going to help you slow down. That's going to help you keep your brakes from overheating, and you're going to have better gas mileage.
Well, that's the thing, and I don't know if it's for every car, but I know I've been in bigger vehicles, big trucks, and to try and get back into gear sometimes doesn't always want to do that. And so when you need to do it, you're going to be in trouble. And so I just can't imagine that much weight going that fast, and not have control over it. So,
and the engine is great for giving you that control, being allowed to, if you need those evasive maneuvers to be able to accelerate or something happens. And then also, again, it keeps your brakes cool. If you downshift, even if you're in an automatic, I think, we both drove manual cars, stick shifts for you maybe a little longer.
Yes.
But I drove that for a long time, and you downshift and you'd use the engine to help slow you down, and that's going to save on your brakes because they can get really hot coming down these grades. Whether you're in a car, SUV, truck, semi, you've got to use your engine to help slow you down.
Yeah, no, it is pertinent for that kind of stuff, So, and just going back to that, back in the day when you did have both, your standard manual.
I love that back in the day. Yep.
Back in the day, I don't know how else to put it there, but you had to pay extra for an automatic,
Yeah, now you can't even find.
I was going to say,
there's very few manual cars being made.
Yeah, I'd be like, I want a stick shift, and they'd be like, where are you?
Yeah, but you can still use your, whether it's paddles or your selector.
I can't use those. I haven't quite got that.
Great.
So
they're wonderful.
I needed one to grab on there and shift.
Yeah, they're terrific. All right, so with mountain driving, also there are a lot of curves. That's one of the biggest things that we talk about with motorcycles. We talk about it with cars, but Colorado roads are very curvy through the hills.
They are, and if you're going there with, this is a big one for me, when you have the camper in the back of your pickup and you're out, so you don't have one of those, you have got a lot of your midsection there has raised quite high for it to be able to move over. So you come around one of those too fast, it may draw you back over into the other oncoming lane of traffic. You could tip over. So you do need to be aware of those. And, especially nowadays too, you also have cyclists out there. You have rocks on the road. You have, animals. So you need to make sure you're going around those curves and give yourself enough time for that.
Yeah, because you don't want to be coming through that curve and say, oh no, there's an animal, there's a rock slide, and then jamming on your brakes, the weight shifting, and there you go. So paying attention to those advisory speeds, and what that is those are those signs that you're coming to a curve that say 20, they're in yellow, 30, whatever it is. That's the advisory speed because of the nature of those curves, for visibility, for being able to control your vehicle. That's what to look out for on mountain roadways, especially.
Yeah. And also give those other people in front of you that ability too, to slow down. Don't just be right on their butt there, because they may not feel comfortable enough. And it's an advisory speed. They've looked at it and they said, this is probably the optimal speed you should be going when you come around this curve. So give them a little distance so they can slow down and not be worried about that as well.
Yes. Slower speeds are going to give you more time. They're going to give you a safer route. They're going to allow you to stay to the right and not cross over. And there's a lot of things that it's there for a reason. So just be really cognizant of those as you're driving through the mountains.
Oh, absolutely.
So Gary, your favorite thing, you told me you've pulled a couple trailers before. What's the max that you've towed?
So, I've only towed one at a time, but I did have a larger one. It was a 32-foot trailer.
Pretty good size.
It is, and with the vehicle we had, so that, that's a lot of a vehicle that you're pulling at the time, and, this is one of those things you think about, but we don't get training to get our license on how to pull a trailer.
No.
Semi
or to back a trailer. That's always, that can be really amusing to watch. People back a trailer for half an hour.
Yeah.
Tried to figure that one
then
out.
you finally say, let me just give you this and help here. I'll get in there and do it. But
Yep.
but so it is very interesting that we don't require that. We do have our semi drivers because they're even a little bit bigger on those, but everybody should, if anything, just at least your dad taught you or somebody, that
or just
drives these
practice.
stuff,
If you're new to getting a trailer and you haven't had the opportunity, we'll take it out in a safe, open parking lot. Practice just basic maneuvers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Practice how to back up maybe into a parking space and what it does when you turn the steering wheel one way and maybe it should you feel like it should go the other way. It's really just learning how that is gonna react in slow speed situations. That's gonna help you too as you get driving a little bit quicker.
Absolutely. And you had me completely tight on. I couldn't even move here with this thing.
Good. That was the hope.
Yeah, making me look like I don't know how to put my headphones on there. But yeah, and so and we get a lot of calls during the summer about travel trailers, what people can do, what kind of, what do they have to have, and so one of the big questions always is how much can I tow? And again, it gets a little scarier.
And this isn't a competition. This isn't like,
not.
How much can I tow?
Yeah.
What's the maximum weight? Can I do 6 cars behind me, this convoy?
Mm-hmm.
I think they call them in Australia. What is it? It's like land trains or something like that. Those big semis that, Anyway.
Yeah, we'll show you one here and let you see
those things
that.
those are crazy. Those guys are just good for them.
Yes, but so here in Colorado, you can have up to 70 feet. And that is a lot.
70 feet is a lot.
That we're talking like semis here, and so and you can have up to 4 vehicles in that. So basically, it's your power cab and then 3 trailers. And I'm going to say right off the beginning on this, if you are going to be towing something like that, you need to make sure you understand your vehicle, what you're towing, and make sure you have everything right, because this can be an absolute disaster if you don't know what you're doing with it.
I very rarely have seen that many things getting towed. I think usually I've seen maybe a truck and a camper and then a boat behind it. I think that's probably the most common is something like that. You have to realize each of those is going to articulate, right? And as you get speed up, when you get a little bit of wobble in one, how that's going to travel through all of them, there's just a lot of concerns with that. That is a huge responsibility to be driving down the roadway with that much. Now, legally, again, 70 feet and up to 4 units, and that includes the truck or whatever you're using to pull it. But you got to be super careful with that. And you can't drive that everywhere in Colorado.
No, there's a lot of parking lots you can't.
No, there's a lot of places you can't go. But there's places, the mountain passes and like Independence Pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has restrictions on
that.
that.
Absolutely it does. And because it becomes so narrow, there aren't guardrails in some spots because the road is very tight. And it is one lane in some stretches of it that you cannot take a vehicle like that through there. It's too tight. It's too dangerous. It's too dangerous for everybody on the road. So like Independence Pass, I think it's 35 feet maximum that you can have there. And I would, if I was driving a 35-foot vehicle, I would avoid it.
Yes.
I just,
plus it's very steep going up there anyways, and it's very busy. So yeah, there are a lot of things like that. And speaking about trailers, a lot of times, I see this as well. Somebody hasn't put either extenders on their side view mirrors so that they can see back there, or they just don't have anything on there, and so you need to make sure that you can see back there far enough, because it is a law on that as well, that you have to be able to.
Yeah, you got to be able to see, right? I mean, that's common sense. So be able to put your mirrors, for backing. There's so much technology now. Get a wireless backup camera, throw it back there too. Give yourself some more visibility so you're not backing into anything. Just simple stuff like that, I think, is going to help. And then really planning your route and knowing that you're not going to end up in a really bad area with your 60 feet of things that your convoy, I'll call it.
Yes.
Be plan ahead. Look through the routes in Colorado. Make sure that you're not going to hit on any of those restrictions, because there are a lot of roadways that are just not meant for that.
Yeah, and you were talking about backing, and you do need to be able to back. And the camera, I think, is a very good idea, because when me and my wife are backing and she's back there giving me directions, that's usually my left, and it
now,
doesn't
is she calm when she's giving these directions with you, Gary? Because I think, like, if I was giving you directions, I'd be screaming just to make sure you heard me.
No, it starts off that she's very calm. I'm the one that gets a little agitated, and then she gets agitated at me, and then
that sounds like a typical American family vacation, trying to figure out how to back the trailer, getting frustrated at each other, and then you got to get it set up, and then once it's finally set up, then you can relax.
Yes, and then you're just ready to go home by
then. Then you got to pack it up, go home. Yep, that sounds great.
Yeah. So some other little quick things on your trailers. Make sure you have chains. This is another law.
Yeah.
And that I have seen this happen where a boat or a trailer has disconnected off the hitch, and it has still been able to stay. It's still grinding down on the road, but we didn't have a boat or a trailer go off into other traffic or go off and hit somebody on the side of the road. So
that's huge.
Very, very important. And don't get little flimsy ones. Make sure you have it to where, because it does have to be adequate enough to keep that load, whatever it is, from detaching from the rest of the vehicle.
Yeah, and you have to have the right chains for that trailer, for that setup. They can't be too long. You don't want them dragging on the ground.
Which is another law.
Yes, you can't have anything dragging there. And as you're connecting them, make sure they're actually connected to the right points. You're using the proper hooks, the weight rating of the chain, not too long. There's a lot of things to look at for that. It's not just as simple as, hey, I'm just going to throw some random chains on here. The way that you hook them, usually I would recommend, and I don't know if you've done the same, is kind of a cross underneath. So you're going to go from passenger side to driver side, from the trailer to the truck, and reverse. And what that does, it creates a little cradle. So if worst case scenario, the reason for these is if it disconnects, if it comes off that hitch, then you have kind of a cradle for that to fall into, where you're not digging it into the ground and it may flip. That's one extra safety measure that you can do. So make sure you are doing that properly as well.
And make sure that you have enough chain that when you make that turn, it doesn't pop it. So
Exactly. So you can't have it too short either, because then you're going to lose a lot of those dynamics. So exactly.
So we got that part.
And brakes. You got to have brakes too.
Yes. See, that's what I was going to go to on it. So over 3,000 pounds, you're required to have trailer brakes.
3,000 pounds of
trailer and load.
Trailer.
So,
okay.
Yes.
So we're not talking
sure
like your pickup truck and a little small trailer.
Right.
Okay.
So a lot of, four-wheeler trailers or something, and somebody has, those ones aren't going to need it. But if you have a big weight on that, you need to make sure you have that. I always recommend also sway bars, on it to help your trailers as well. So a lot of little things that you do. Just don't forget any of those while you go traveling, because, you're going out there to have some fun. Make sure you get there, make sure you have the fun, and don't have me and my wife try and back your trailer.
I think that's what I'm going to take from today. Actually, you know what? I would like to, if we can get you in a truck and trailer and I can just come out and watch, maybe I'll set up a lawn chair or something. So if you could like get a pickup, use, your truck and get a random trailer. I don't even care what it is. It can be a small trailer, whatever. And I want you to back it somewhere while your wife directs you. And you can only do what she says. It's going to be a team building thing for you.
Team building,
and I'm going to set up a lawn chair and I'm going to watch.
An insurance claim, So.
No, I have faith in your wife.
You do. I have faith in her too. It's just the two of us, when we try to talk to each other on something like that,
I think it's going to be great
work, But
I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Well, I will give you this though. So back, when I was in my 20s, hay wagons, and I don't even want to hear about.
No, of course not. No, back in the day.
Yes, but my dad told me to back one up. Well, they articulate on the front tires. So it had four sets. You had your front and your back there. And you try to back one of those where that front end,
fighting.
I was all over the place. And so I finally went back in. I told my dad, I said, hey, this can't be done. And he got all mad. And he said, yeah, it can. He went out there, and about an hour later, he came back in and he finally had gotten it, but he wasn't happy.
Oh, that's tough. I mean, you're already, it can be challenging if you're not used to it, just backing a fixed trailer. So articulating, that's a challenge.
It is.
Let's throw that in there. Let's get a hay trailer. Anybody have a hay trailer and pick up for Gary and his wife we can make a video out of it. We could all have a show. I'll bring some snacks and we'll just hang out and watch this.
We can't do the hay trailer because I love my wife and our marriage will be over after that.
Oh, okay. We don't want that. We want to keep you and your wife happy.
Yes. All right. So you made these words here as small as you possibly could here. So
loading,
loading is it. So, all right.
So loading, you're going to have typically gear, right? You're not going to, you see it with people throwing bikes on the back. If it's not only your car, if they're going to, for me, I don't have a trailer or a tow hitch or anything. So I have to strap everything to the car. But if you're going to put that stuff on your car, your pickup, your trailer, there are some rules that apply with that. You can't just slap it all over
Exactly.
wherever you could find some space, because that's what it sure seems like with some people is, hey, I've got a little space over here and it won't obstruct anything. Let me throw a bike. Let me throw a whatever on the side of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the fun things I like to see a lot of times, or I shouldn't really say like to see, but I do see, is somebody in a car and they've got a kayak and it extends clear past the front of the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have that either. So, that goes back to having the equipment you need to haul your equipment.
Yes. And I don't see, I have a inflatable paddleboard and I just put it in the trunk of my car. That's been the best thing, because before trying to get a kayak and everything on the car, and it's a pain in the butt. So the paddleboard is great. I throw it in the trunk. I don't have to worry about loading. Because if you can't have it over the left side. So over your driver's side of your car, you can't have anything projecting beyond the fender of your car.
Yep.
And that applies if you go to Home Depot, if you go anywhere. So this isn't just about driving. This is anywhere you go. You cannot have things that extend past the driver's side. And that tends to be for oncoming cars as you're going. Just think about it. As you're passing each other, if you both had a foot extended out, well, that's not going to end well. And that's really the reason for that law.
And I actually have a story on that exact thing. Guy coming from Home Depot had this. It went all the way back to the back of his car. So it was in the back seat, went past him on the shoulder, went out the side view, or out his window on the side there, and then extended and continued to move further and further away from the vehicle and extended out past the front of the thing. It looked like he was going jousting.
That's that's a great way of putting it. And think of, like, if something happened to that lumber. Lumber right now is that's like gold. I mean, you don't
want to show that you have lumber somewhere.
No, that should be hidden. Like, you need to get that in an enclosed trailer. Don't advertise that you've got lumber and you're coming from Home Depot. That's that's just asking for trouble.
But that was scary. I went by that guy and I said, I got to go back and we have to have a talk. So
there's better ways to do that.
There are. And so on the right side, your passenger side, we give you 6 inches.
Yeah, so you got a little bit of space, right? So if you're going to extend something out and have a projecting load, and again, I think lumber is an easy way to look at it too. If it's going to kind of be angled out, you want to go from the driver's side back toward the passenger side, and it can come out 6 inches, not more. So you don't want to be, again, shooting out the side of it, and you got cyclists over there, and you got things to be concerned with on that side too. So we don't want to be hurting anybody.
Absolutely, And then we have the back of the vehicle, and so you can only go out 4 feet from anything that is considered a load that is not part of your vehicle. And once you get past that, you get the 4 feet or beyond, you need to have either a red flag, something that differentiates that it's off the back of the vehicle, or if you're doing something nice, especially a red light.
Yes.
So those are the 2 things you need to be worried about.
Yeah, the flag isn't, if you're going to be hauling something at night, then you really need a light on that. And that's just to warn drivers of, you can't tell where the end of that vehicle is, and that's a big safety feature. And they'll give you hopefully some more following distance, so that make you more comfortable as well of having either that flag during the day or especially the light at night.
Yeah, and that can even be because a lot of times I'll see a family going traveling and they'll have all their bicycles on the back on a rack that goes clear out, a lot. And this is, again, make sure you have your load solid there. I have come up behind trailers where the bicycles are all dragging down behind it because they didn't do it correctly, and we're going to have a big accident there, so, and you've destroyed all your bicycles as well. So you need to be careful on these things.
I'm not destroying my bicycles, I'll tell you that, because and we talk about bicycles. I ride road and mountain. You have a mountain bike. You say I'm crazy for riding on the road, but I enjoy my road time. I'm just very cautious of it because I don't want to get hit. As you're talking, Gary, I want to ask, not necessarily you. No, not you.
Okay.
I just think I would enjoy going on a vacation with you and your wife. And the reason I say that is because I think it would be like having a show the whole time that I could just sit back, because I'm not involved in it. But I wonder, like, the people that are listening to us, would you rather go on a vacation with Gary or me? And where? I want to know where too. Like, if we were to go somewhere, like, Gary, I would say I'd go on a vacation with you and your wife to, like, Utah or somewhere, kind of up in the hills, because I want a little challenge. But I want to get into the city too. I want you to, like, drive down to Salt Lake and have some stress too. So we'll have the scenery.
Yes.
And again, I'm just gonna bring a lawn chair. I just be like a fly on the wall.
You'd be on the lawn chair strapped in the back of the truck, or are you going to be up on top?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. No, that was that Borat or something like that where he did that. I think there was something that he was.
Yeah. Being in the vehicle. So I don't know. I've waited to see if you can lose your temper. Like me? Really lose it. Yeah.
I'm pretty calm.
I've never run across you just getting mad. You hear me in my office all the time. So you know exactly.
There's constant grumbling. I just know when it's a more intense grumble.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty laid back. That's why I think it'd be interesting to I want to know, would you, and it's not like a competition. It is. But I have the feeling most people would say Gary. That's just my bet. I'm willing to say that.
Yeah. There's a lot of pointing and going, that guy did that wrong. And why is he doing that? And
I'd just be sitting there
where's my
whatever.
Book,
so, I'm on vacation.
Yeah, I try,
flip-flops, relaxed. I'll be wearing your Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, or I'll be throwing it. I don't know. My wife always says, well, let me drive, and that way I can relax. I can't relax because there's more stuff to look at. I'm still going, that person did that wrong, And so if you're driving around me, please just do it correctly.
Yeah, Gary will be looking at you. If you're not obeying the law, like we've mentioned on all these things, you're going to be getting looks from Gary.
Yes.
If you're endangering my life, you're probably going to get a look from me, but otherwise I'm just going to be relaxing.
I stand up for the others too, because I'll get mad if somebody does that to somebody.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll be like, how could you do that to that person? So
I like I said, I just, as you're talking, I thought, I'd be interested. I wonder what other people think. So I'm interested to see some comments on that. I hope we get some.
Because I don't look like I do that, do I?
So, yeah, on that note.
Yes. All right.
Yeah. So we appreciate you listening in, and I think this is kind of again, we can't get too much into topics on things because there are so many laws, there are so many things that we can dig into. But if there are questions, or either on some of the stuff that we mentioned or some other driving, recreating, all those things, feel free to ask us. We really enjoy answering those questions and getting those, because it's stuff that maybe is more common to us, and we think, well, everybody knows this.
Yes.
Not everybody does it. That's why I guess we study a lot of laws and constantly and are brushing up in the changes. So feel free to reach out to us. And Gary's still looking for those 1 million subscribers too.
Yes, and it is going slow right now, but
Did you see it? Did you see it just deflate right there? If you're listening to this, you miss it. It's just going slow. Kind of the Eeyore moment right there.
I know.
I felt it. That hurt my heart, Gary.
Woe is me. Okay, Pooh.
It's okay, Gary.
Right?
We'll be okay.
Okay. All right. So we appreciate you showing up for watching or listening. We are on Spotify, and let your friends know. And we will be back next month. We never know what we're going to talk about. It just before, we don't know what we're going to wear. Sometimes we don't get that information either. So until next time, safe travels.
Take care.